Welcome to Weekend Night Live, hosted by Samuel Jacobs Abbey, where we play music, talk shows, and interviews on Be Inspired Podcast Network. Stay tuned and keep your dial on www.beinspiredpodcast.com. Don't forget to stay connected, be inspired, be unique, and be different. To Weekend Night Live, hosted by Samuel Jacobs Abbey, where we play music, talk shows, and interviews on Be Inspired Podcast Network. Stay tuned and keep your dial on www.beinspiredpodcast.com. Don't forget to stay connected, be inspired, be unique, and be different.
Gentlemen, once again, let me take this opportunity to welcome all of you to Be Inspired Podcast Network. Again, my name is Samuel Jacob Sabe, and I am very excited that today we are going to discuss a very important topic which bothers directly on the individual as well as an organization. Our focus today, we are going to discuss the issue of branding, and how important branding is in our day-to-day activity as well as our corporate institutions. But for us to do this, we are very honored and very privileged that today, like I promised you guys last week during our show, that today we are traveling all the way to Nigeria to talk to not just an ordinary friend, but a friend that we go many years back. Together we were members of JCI, and by the grace of God today we are living in two different worlds, but yet we are making a global impact and changing the lives of people. So folks from around the world, and for the sake of those who are listening to our show for the first time today, as you will know, Be Inspired Podcast Network is an international non-profit organization based in the Commonwealth of Virginia in the United States, with the sole purpose of bringing social change implications to our communities. And so to do that, today we are very honored that we will going to interview my good friend Jide Adeyemi. He has been involved in advertising, brand management, training, coaching, and consulting for more than 15 years with the intention of dramatically increasing profit, productivity, and the performance of people. Prior to starting Big and Bold Communications Limited with his partner Oluranti Agulens, he performed as head of marketing. I was responsible for leading the mobile phone marketing team in Nigeria and in West Africa. JD, who has a total of 15 years advertising, event management, training and marketing, was a retail marketing manager West and Central Africa for Nokia, where he transformed the retail environment utilizing his planning, project management, execution, and people management skills to ensure delivery and pop-up skills and management of the quality of consumer experiences. So he has a tall list of a profile. Just for the sake of our conversation, I just want to skip some of them, but it will be on our website and you can read all of them as well. But more importantly, I just also want to mention that my good friend was a graduate of the JCI and also from the JCI Leadership Academy, where he was voted the most outstanding participant in the JCI Academy. He has also been a certified trainer and he has trained all over the world, including Switzerland, Mongolia, Morocco, Ghana, Togo, and just name them. People, I just want you to know that this individual is not just an ordinary person, but somebody who is academically astute as well. Like I said, he is so much involved in advertising and knowledging, and so he holds a master's in marketing from University of Leicester in the UK. He has attended different trainings both home and abroad, including Harvard Business School here in Boston. And folks, for the purpose of our conversation, I also just want to mention that Jide has traveled extensively and have a different perspective when it comes to branding and strategic marketing. And so, folks from around the world today, like I said, our topic and our focus is going to be on branding. And somebody may ask, what is branding? See, a brand, as I can tell you, represent a sum of people's perception of a company or a customer. When people appear, their brand leaves an imprint in the minds of people. But I don't want to go into all the nitty-gritties and all the details. Our guest will do all that for us. And so from all over the world, I see a number of 13,082 people online in real time now, about to listen to our great resource. So for this reason, I will turn my attention to my good friend Jide Adeyemi. Welcome to Be Inspired Podcast Network.
Thank you so much, Samuel. It's a pleasure being on this program. Hi, viewers. It's a pleasure being here this evening.
Oh, thank you so much. We are very excited to have you. We have read extensively about your background. We have we have your pictures rolling on our website, and people are getting to know your business well and all that. Now we go into all those details. Let's begin first of all by getting to know you exactly from your own perspective. So why don't you take this moment to share with us a quick intro of yourself, so those who may not know you will have an opportunity to know who you are.
Thank you very much, Samuel. I'm sure you have done a great deal introducing me, reading our profile, and I'm here sitting asking myself, is this really you, Jide? But for the purpose of our for the purpose of our listeners all over the world, my name is Jide Adeyemi. I like to be described as a passionate Nigerian, someone who loves his country so much. I'm a brand strategist. That is what I do for a living. I'm also a life coach. I train people. I help organizations to achieve their goals. And of course, I'm a tourist. By a tourist, I mean the fact that I love to travel around the world. I hope to see 100 countries by the time I'm 50. There's so much about myself that I would like the viewers to know, but for the purpose of this presentation this night, I'm a brand strategist and I lead a group of young individuals managing a company called Big and Bold Communications. Big and Bold Communication is a business solution outfit that use brand management tool and marketing communication tool to solve challenges of our clients. And my biggest passion, of course, is brand management. I love brands. I love to ensure that I'm able to help people connect with their consumers. I love consumer insight, and that is what I do for a living. So I've been privileged to work with different organizations. One of my most exciting experience was working as retail customer marketing manager for Nokia, managing West and Central Africa for the organization. I've also been privileged to work with a company called Huawei, where I led the marketing team. But before I got into that side, I've worked with different advertising agencies, and I've been privileged to work with a whole lot of marketing gurus on global brands. I've been privileged to work on such brands as BAT, Guinness, Etisalat, Virgin Atlantic, Procter & Gamble, Samsung, Nokia, and a whole lot of all of these organizations. Why, if I'm not doing brand management, what do? I facilitate, I teach people in the area of marketing, I teach advertising, I teach brand management, I teach personal development skills. And aside from that, I do volunteering work with an organization called Junior Chamber International. Junior Chamber International is an organization that has helped to mold my life, that has helped to shape who I am today. And the organization has helped me in so many ways to see the world. I serve the organization in different capacities, the last being 2015 JCI Training Commissioner for Middle East and Africa. I'm a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Brand Management. I started my educational career studying mass communication in Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, Abeokuta. And I've gone ahead to also study at different levels, also going for international courses in such schools as Harvard, INSEAD, Cranfield, Lagos Business, University of Pretoria, and I'm a member of the Advertising Professional Council of Nigeria. I'm also privileged to be a member of the Nigerian Institute of Marketing, as well as Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. I'm proud to say that I'm married to my best friend, Adefola John, and our marriage is blessed with two kids, Jide and Jide. So, in brief, Jide Adeyemi is the Chief Brand Strategist of Big and Bold Communications. Big and Bold Communications is a brand management outfit that has operations in Lagos, Accra, and Nairobi at the moment. Our listeners can read more about me on jideadeyemi.ng or check bigandbold.com.ng for the activities that we do for brands around the world. So, Samuel, I will leave it at that, and our listeners will get to know me more as we talk.
I certainly hope so, because I mean, you've given us in fact, I can be hired to write a memoir of you based on the introduction alone. You have contributed to our society, and you have shaped the life of people. I have so many questions that have come in ahead of the our conversation, and then people have expressed how you have impacted their life at different training forums from around the world. But I'll come back to that. So let's begin with our conversation today. Like I said, we have about 13,000 people listening to you right now, and so a lot of people are here listening to you because they want to have an idea what branding is all about. So in your own terms, and from a strategic a business perspective, what is branding, and what is personal branding as well?
Thank you very much. I think to understand what branding is, it's important for us to know what brands are. A brand is an idea or image of a specific product or services that consumers connect with. And by identifying the name, the logo, the slogan, the design, the image, the value that the brand gives, all of those things makes up what a brand is. There's a whole lot of process that is involved in creating what people call a unique name, what we call an image, or what have you, that you want to sit in people's mind. So, and you can express this through different mediums. So, but for the purpose of this evening, I'm going to be speaking more on personal branding, and I'm going to tell us that Personal branding for me is essentially the ongoing process of establishing prescribed image or impression in the mind of your target audience. So your target audience could be people around you. It could be organizations. It could be a lady that a guy is trying to appeal to. It could be members of your family. It could be members of anywhere you belong to. And in the purpose of doing that, it is for you to accomplish a definite goal or a set goal. I'll give you an example. If I'm standing in for an opportunity for employment, the way I market myself and I showcase my brand is for the employer to find me worthy of employment. So your brand is a perception or emotion maintained by everybody around you. It describes the total experience people have when they have personal relationship with you. And personal branding, of course, is an idea of trying to cultivate your identity, maybe to your friends, your target audience, or even to the world at large. And your personal, in developing your personal brand, some people say, oh, I'm funny, I'm attractive. People say that, oh, I'm smart, what have you. But that is not enough. It is what people say that you are, that is exactly what the brand that you are is. So I must let you know that personal brand is what comes to people's mind when they hear your name or see you. It is the practice of marketing yourself so that when people see you, a particular image comes to their mind. So personal branding, I would say that is the practice of marketing yourself and your career as a brand. It is the desired image or impression that you want people to go away with about you. So when you remember Mandela, freedom comes to your mind. When you remember Mandela, you think of leadership. Remember Mandela, you think of selfless service. So that is what forms his own personal brand. So everything that makes up who you are, what people think about you, what they say about you, is what your personal brand is.
Wow, wow. You know, I I have never thought about it the way you put it. I have always considered that, well, you just want to look good, you just want to present yourself so well to the public, but not necessarily look at it from the perspective that you've shared. And I'm saying this because when I set out to go into a meeting or to a forum, to a workshop, to a seminar, I have a particular way that I always appear. I have my own African print vest and bow tie and the pocket square that I wear, and it has been a part and parcel of my dressing for nearly 3 years. Now, I have never thought about it as a personal branding. Now you have given me a reason to even dress more. So, folks, just watch out, because now our resource guests have made me understood that the way you present yourself resonates with people about you. And I like the fact that you talked about Nelson Mandela, because when you talk about Nelson Mandela, freedom comes into your mind, meaning that he has personalized that aspect of freedom fighting to his name. The same way we can talk about Martin Luther King. As soon as we mention Martin Luther King, then you talk about segregation and overcoming segregation. Same as Gandhi. As we talk about Gandhi, then the concept of non-violence comes to mind. So I mean, folks listening, I'm sure you are learning, because I am learning so much from what he just said. Now, but having said that, some also say it is difficult to build a personal brand. How true is that?
Well, I must say to us that it is not difficult to build a personal brand. It's something very simple. But in building a personal brand, one of the things you need to do is, first and foremost, you need to understand yourself. Because your branding will refer to the overall way you make people and organization perceive you. So the experience that people take away after they had a contact with you. So the solution many are looking for, can you provide a solution? And it's not just that can you provide the solution, can you provide it in a satisfying way? It is all the things that differentiate you from others. So in developing your personal brand, you need to think about what is unique about me. Okay, I work in an establishment and I have the same job description as my colleague. How can I do it better? That is the way you begin to develop your personal brand. It is as simple as having a pleasant personality. Some people say, oh, Samuel is a nice guy. Some people say, oh, Samuel is a snob. So in developing your personal brand, it is not difficult. So if you want people to see you as being pleasant, then you need to relate to them in a pleasant way, and then you attract that. So if you show respect to others, they will show respect to you. It is very, very simple. In some cases, some people they are like what you call the go-to guy. So when you need solution to anything, they go to that guy. He has built a personal brand. And more importantly, what value can you offer? It is not difficult if you know what value you want to offer. Everybody you come in contact with, is there a value exchange? If you don't know this, you will still build a personal brand, but you will not build an awesome brand. And because your audience will not be looking for you. As a teacher, why will students prefer your class to your colleagues? So you need to answer all of these questions, and it will help you in developing a foundation for your personal brand. Value exchange for me is very key. Of course, there's so much more to what a branding is. Some people feel that, just like you mentioned, oh, when I choose to dress in a certain way and develop a personal brand, fine, it can be part of it, but that is not all that it is. I'll give you an example. If you look the anatomy of a brand and then you look at an iceberg, the iceberg, you only see the tip of the iceberg, but deep down in the sea is what makes the iceberg. A lot of times, how someone dressed in an African way is just a tip of the iceberg. That could be your name, it could be your logo, it could be your identity, it could be your packaging, it could be your, for example, it could be your Facebook page, it could be your social media and what have you. But in the real essence of it, the strategic approach to life is what is in the iceberg, which is bigger than everything. Your attitude to life, your character, your approach when people have contact with you. How easily do you get angry? How are you able to deliver on the job that people give you to do? That is the main thing. That is the most important thing. So the outlook is not as strong as what people do not see. So personal branding is a lot more than just all of those things. Of course, you need to be yourself, but it's much more than being yourself. There's a need for a solid foundation. There's need for authenticity. This is who Samuel is. It is not a copy of Jide. This is who Jide is. It's not because some people, when they want to build a personal brand, some people want to be great speakers like Obama, and then they try to begin to practice the way Obama speaks. That will not make a solid brand. So to build your own brand, you need to be true to yourself. You need to understand what are your weaknesses, and then you're able to use your strength to take away the weaknesses, and then begin to come out into life. So authenticity is very essential, and it's an ingredient part of your personal branding. It's authenticity and consistency. It's the same way that you look at an egg without an omelette. You can never have an egg without an omelette. So in building a personal brand, it's not something difficult. What you just need to do is to ask yourself, what is the goal that you want to achieve? And when you know the goal, you now know, okay, this is how I go about it. And let nobody tell you that, oh, it is difficult. No, it is not. You just need to understand yourself and then understand your uniqueness that you are presenting to the world.
Wow!
Thank you.
Wow! Wow! That's very deep. That's very deep because my takeaway from what you just said is that the fact that you appeared in a certain way does not necessarily makes your personal brand, but personal brand goes beyond just what the ordinary eyes could see. Because if we go back to the premise of what you said earlier on, your brand is associated with people, and so once people get an imprint of who you are, your brand will resonate with them, and it become part and parcel of your lifestyle. That's a great perspective that you shared again. Now,
I'll quickly give you an example, Samuel.
Good.
If we invite you, Samuel, as a guest speaker for an event, and you walk in, when you walk past me, and I say, oh, you smell nice, that's a nice perfume, and somebody said, nice tie. Someone else says, oh, I love the shoe you wear, you dress very well. And you go ahead and present your lecture, and we found you very empty. All the dressing does not count. All the nice perfume, the nice packaging, everything comes to zero. When after your lecture, we now say, oh, it's like a waste of time. But when after your lecture, you get a standing ovation in the hall, everybody has something to take away, then you have been able to successfully sell your brand to us.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, that's a very perfect example because I personally have encountered that which you just described, where I have been in a meeting where the resource person, comes in a flashy car with all the protocol around the person, and yet I kept asking myself, really, is that all it is? Because this person couldn't deliver. But thank God I'm a fellow of JCI, and we've been taught how to present ourselves and also to deliver quality stuff. So thank you so much, Jide, for. But there's a question. Somebody is asking the question, so I will interrupt just to ask that question because it fits into exactly what you said. And this question is coming from Robert, and Robert is writing from Sydney in Australia. And Robert's question to you is that, hey, thank you so much. This is a very important topic. Samuel, as you know already, I am a medical doctor here in Australia, but I love your show because it talks a lot about social changes. My question to Jide is that how does consistency plays a role in personal branding? How does consistency plays a role in personal branding?
Hi, Robert. Thank you very much for this session. This is one of the most important aspects of branding for me. Consistency is everything when you talk about branding. I'll give you an example. If I buy a bottle of Coca-Cola today and Coca-Cola say it refreshes, and I drink it and I get refreshment, and I buy it in Lagos, Nigeria, and I get into Nairobi, Kenya tomorrow, I buy Coca-Cola and it does not refresh me, and the taste is different, or the promise I'm not getting it, I probably will not want to buy again. Consistency is everything. Branding and personal branding is a whole lot more about your integrity. So you cannot say, oh, you are a man of integrity in the morning and you are not a man of integrity in the afternoon. You cannot say, oh, you choose to be honest in March and you are not honest in April. No. Branding, consistency is very, very key. You are a medical doctor, and when people entrust themselves to you as a patient, and then you deliver, then you get referral. And when someone else makes a referral, another person comes, they must get the experience as prescribed. The referral must meet their expectation because they come and they now say, oh, the doctor is not able to attend to us the way you explain it. You did not get the experience that you shared. Consistency is lost, and then you have lost business. So that makes consistency very, very key. Brand, for every brand, consistency for me is one of the soul of brand management. I hope my answer helps, Robert.
Certainly. And I think it's very important that you hit that point because, like Robert, like you clearly will know, if you are not consistent in anything, you cannot live the dream. The people, and I like the fact that Jide began his statement by referring to Mandela, because now Mandela is going to be our case study for this conversation because he was consistent, he believed in a particular vision, and so the consistency led to people resonating with freedom. But having said that, I have another question here, and this question is actually coming from Ghana. It's coming from Her Royal Highness Mama Gan Ameto II, the Paramount Queen Mother of Alabanyo traditional area in the Volta region of Ghana. And the question to you is that, is it branding that markets a product or communication? Is it about branding that market a product or communications?
Thank you very much, Your Royal Highness from Ghana. A lot of times, many people find it difficult to understand the place of branding in all of this whole marketing and advertising and what have you. Advertising, communication, marketing, they are all part of brand management. The question is this: without branding, you cannot even begin to communicate information about a brand because what you are communicating is the brand message. So I'll give you an example. Uh, if I put there's a drink in a crack or pito that is mixed together. So if I put it in a bottle without any label on it, it is not branded. So I cannot begin to talk about it and say Samuel drink. I can only call it, oh, buy this local drink. So, but the moment I put a name to it, the moment I change the packaging, the moment I decide to give it a color, give it a logo, and what have you, then it becomes a brand. It's no longer a product. A product without an identity is just a product. But then a product with an identity is then a brand. It is after it becomes a brand that we can then begin to communicate it. If we do not establish a brand, there cannot be a communication. So if we do not establish a brand, we cannot do advertising. If you don't establish a brand, you cannot go out there and market. And when you are doing all of those communication, marketing, PR, and what have you, it is the brand message of that brand that you are putting out there. I hope this helps your Royal Highness.
Very good. Thank you so much. So many people also believe it is expensive to build a personal brand. Do you agree?
Why people think it is expensive to build a personal brand is because they see personal brand as the same way that they see a Nike. They see personal brand as the same way they see the Ritz or Sheraton Hotel. People begin to see personal brand the same way they see a Nokia mobile phone. It is not expensive, and I must say that I disagree. The reason is this. It's very simple. It's not the same way as you use a conglomerate. You don't need $1 million marketing budget to do market for your personal brand because you are your own billboard. You are your own personal advertising medium. You are your own marketing tool as a personal brand. A lot of us do not even take good advantage of all the social media. People go on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and they market themselves. They build their brand through that way. I know a friend who talks about productivity on his social media page, and over time, people begin to invite him to come and provide solutions in terms of productivity. I know someone who talks about how to teach kids on all his on his social media page, and people begin to seek his services or to come and teach their kids. That is how simple and how affordable it is to build your personal brand. Don't get it cheated by saying that, oh, you need a 3-piece suit and what have you. Hell no. Hell no. You only need to dress nice. Even if you have 2 trousers and 3 shirts, be sure that you come out clean every other time. So people with the most effective personal brand, they utilize content. That is all they do. Over time, you then become a thought leader in your industry. What they do is that how they communicate, when you are sending an email to people, when you meet with people for the first time, the perception that they take away, it matters a lot. So every other means of interpersonal and mass communication that you use in a creative way to portray the tangible attributes that you have, maybe your education, your knowledge, and what have you. If you're discussing football, there are some people that can break it down and analyze football in a very, very nice way. They are projecting their personal brand, and it is that simple. So it is not an expensive thing. You don't need to have the same budget like Apple. You don't need that budget like Samsung does to market your personal brand.
Wow. That's absolutely true. But then let me ask this question, which is coming from Bangura in Sierra Leone, and the Bangura's question from Sierra Leone is that now, is there a competition when it comes to personal branding?
Yeah, I Bangura from Sierra Leone. I will support you by saying that there's a competition when it comes to personal brand. But the truth that you must know is that you are competing with only one person. You are competing with the man you see in the mirror. You are competing with yourself. Personal branding is not a form of competition. If you can conquer self, your brand will come out. Reason is this. If you are not able to deliver in a good way, you have lost market and somebody who is able to do so, people will seek their knowledge. If you're in a particular industry, you do something. You don't have to compete with anybody because uniqueness is the sole essence of personal branding. It is fine when you have a good brand, when you have a nice, amazing personal brand, people will go for you as against going for others. So I don't want you to see yourself in competition with anybody. See yourself competing with that guy that you see every time you go into the mirror, and tell that guy that you see in the mirror, you need to be better in this area. You need to develop your skill in this area. You need to improve what you do in this area. And then when you develop that guy that you see in the mirror, you are able to conquer every challenges of the guy. Then your brand will come out more. So the question you ask yourself is, that guy that you think you are competing with, what does he offer that you are not able to offer? If you run a dry cleaning business like he does, do you do home pickup and then do you do delivery? As against him expecting everybody to come to them and then drop it. So when your customer is not around, so do you call them and just say hi, or remember their birthday, remember their anniversary, or when they come around and then they make 10 shirts and you just say, oh, for the 11th one, we give you for free. And then you differentiate your services from other people. How do you pack these clothes different from someone else? What do you say when they come around, when they go? How do you express yourself to them, and what have you? And beyond the fact that they come to you for the service of dry cleaning clothes, what other things do they get from you? Do people then come back to you to seek advice on how to maybe manage their clothes or something? Or have you had the opportunity to have interaction with them? They share an issue and you're able to provide a solution. So those are the things that you need to focus on in developing yourself, in creating a unique positive differentiation to other people. So as against then seeing others as your competition, you see yourself as competition. So set a goal. Where do you want your brand to be in December? That is what you are competing with. And you ensure that you have between February and December to hit that target. That way you will develop yourself as against bothering yourself over competing with others.
Very good. Thank you so much. Another question is coming from Yusuf, and Yusuf, it's writing from Ukraine, in Kiev, in Ukraine. And Yusuf, question is that, does branding improves recognition? Did you get it?
Hello?
Yep. So the question from Yusuf is that Yusuf is writing from Kiev in Ukraine, and the Yusuf question is that, does branding improves recognition?
Okay. Branding, of course, improves recognition, and it is as simple as it is. I'll give you an example. If you close your eyes and you have they hand over to you a bottle of Coca-Cola, will you say it is a bottle of Coca-Cola or not? Definitely you will say yes, because if you are giving a bottle of Coca-Cola with your eyes closed, by the time you rub your hand on it, you'll be able to say, oh, this is a bottle of Coca-Cola. That is recognition. When you appear in a particular place and some people look at you, they can only see your back view. They have an idea that, oh, this probably can be somewhere, because this person coming, I can't see his face, but I can see an African bow tie, and then you begin to think that it's the same person. When people see your work different to other people's work, they can say, oh, this is probably this person's artwork, is the one that has this style. A lot of people see me these days when I'm coming and they say, oh, immediately I see an orange color, I have a feeling that is Jide coming. So branding improves recognition, and it could be positive, it could be negative, depending on what kind of recognition that will make it appeal to people. I hope that helps my friend from Ukraine.
Good. Now let's come to home country in Lagos, and the question it's coming from Mahmoud, and Mahmoud question is that, well, it is true, branding does a lot of things, and I appreciate that which you have shared with us. I have been privileged to be in 2 meetings that I have seen you I didn't have a direct contact with you, but you've been there training JCI members. I was invited from a friend because I'm a member of the Rotary Club, and you taught us a lot, and I appreciate all your work. My question to you is that how does branding create trust, especially for people around you? How does branding create trust, especially for people around you?
How does branding create what?
Trust.
Okay. How does branding create trust? So I did mention when I was answering one of the questions that the thing about branding has to do with, and when we talk personal branding, it has to do with your integrity. Branding creates trust because if you come across someone and then over time you have experienced certain attributes from this person, you have tested the person has become trusted, then the person is trusted. There are times when we belong to group and then we need to, all of us need to contribute money. And somebody says, oh, let's contribute the money and give it to David. It is because we are all able to trust that David will give us the money when we ask for the money in 2 weeks' time. There are cases where somebody would then say, oh, no, let's give it to Miriam as against giving it to David. Somebody would say, no, if you are giving Miriam, I will not drop my money. Branding creates trust because people have seen certain individuals in the course of their life, how they have been able to help people. And when they come out for political career, for political office, and they are campaigning, people say, oh, I've seen him support people. I've seen him giving people scholarship. I've seen him do this and do that, even without seeking political office. Now that he's seeking, because I can trust him, I will vote for him. Because I can trust the fact that he will do a good job, I will give him this contract. Because I can trust the fact that this guy is always on time. Because when you go to meetings on time and people begin to see that you are punctual, it is part of your brand. So they're able to trust you that when it comes to a matter that requires timeliness, you are the one to be trusted. So the brand that you have built over time begin to make people to trust you. When I'm feeling thirsty and I need refreshment, there's a particular drink that comes to my mind. I have trusted that brand. I have trusted that drink. Then you're able to trust them. When as a man, you ask a lady out and then the lady over time have confidence and then trust you. When you then say, oh, and propose marriage, then she's able to accept because she can trust that is somebody I can spend the rest of my life with. So I'm sure my examples are able to help you connect so much with some of these, the clarification that trust play a big role in brand management.
Good, thank you so much. A follow-up question coming from Her Royal Highness, and she's in branding, do we consider the environment in which we are or before? So what she's trying to say is that do we have to take the environment into consideration when we are branding?
So in the process of brand management, whether personal, whether organization, whether product, the environment is very key. There are certain, as a Royal Highness, there are certain language that is permitted in some areas. As Africans, some of those languages are not permitted. So when I'm creating my brand statements, when I'm creating my brand messaging, there are some things I can't say because of the African culture. Oh, when they hear that in Kumasi, when they hear that in Takrady, it will not sound nice. But then in some other European country, you are free to say some things. And those things you cannot say here. When you say them here, you are seen as, oh, maybe irresponsible or what have you. So the environment plays a key role. Now, the kind of people you are marketing to also determines how you project your brand. I was telling a client just recently that when you are doing, you are marketing a product and your target is mothers or married women, the messaging that you pass across to the mothers in northern Nigeria is different from that in Lagos because the lifestyle differs. So the essence is you need to know your target audience. You need to know the environment, you need to understand how what you want to do, how it affects the kind of people in your environment. So the messaging is key. I was joking just this evening that Africans are so religious. Why? Because we have a lot of problem around here. So churches is appealing to us. You market churches and a lot of people want to buy. And when I mean buy, that means they choose to come to your church. It's not the same. My brother, it is a product, it's a brand. So people tell you and say, oh, I go to this church, I like this church against this church. It is more appealing to them. If I'm in Accra, Samuel, I want to go to KICC, or I go to a church where I can listen to all this big Ghanaian pastor. So that is all part of the brand. And I was just talking about pastor now, there are certain messages we preach in some villages and use some examples. You cannot use the same example in certain cities. There will be a disconnect. I'm sure that explains my question.
I think so. I certainly think so because and I like the fact that you make that analogy because everything is about branding, and it's the way you present it that will determine whether or not people will buy the product. That's true. So then the follow up question though is this. Now we've looked at the environment. We've looked at many things. Now, when you say differentiate or die, what exactly do you mean? Because a lot of people have asked me this question. That okay, the caption of my topic with you look a bit different and interesting, so they will be more interested in knowing what does that mean.
Thank you very much. This is something that I'm so passionate about, and I believe that when we talk about differentiate or die, and we leave it there, everybody will understand what branding is all about. It is good for us to be great at something, but is it enough anymore? It is not. It is not enough any longer because of globalization. The ability to find many people who are great at what you do. So this is a podcast. There are so many others. So if you are great at this, others are great at their own also. But you just need to be different. Samuel, what is the extra that your podcast brings? Do you bring what is the extra that your podcast brings to an ordinary thing done by others? So it is important that you differentiate. Are you a top leader in your industry? Are you unique? Do people find you different from every other thing? Every brand that is strong, what makes them strong is the fact that they stand out. And when you do not stand out, and I'll take you as a product, as an individual, when you do not stand out, people will go for that brand that stands out. And over time, when people open a business and they couldn't attract because they expected customer, others are attracting customers, they will close that business. And that is what I mean by differentiate or die. Consider Apple, for example. Apple, for me, is one of the top brands when it comes to innovation. Everything they do, from their product, the packaging, it is just a work of genius for me. It is very innovative. I'm not sure if anybody knows any other mobile phone that has that kind of unique operating system. Android is on so many brands, but they have their own. Apple, the experience is different. And when you now go ahead and you make your mobile phone look like it, when people see it, they say, oh, it looks like Apple. So there was a time when a mobile phone called Nokia 310 was selling very fast. And the essence at that time was in ruggedity. When you throw it down, when the thing falls down, you pick it, pack it up, and then you continue. You don't have to you don't have to charge it for 2 days or what have you. So that gives it a very, very strong appeal. And there's so many global brands that we can look at. If you look at, let's talk about Disney, how they get so creative, how the brand inject family entertainment into their movies, into their theme park, into their products, into their magic, everything they do. It set them apart from every other part. It set them apart from every other activity that is appealing to kids. So one of the most important thing is that as the CEO of your U brand, you need to find a way to stand out. I love Richard Branson so much. Richard Branson apply his genius passion into everything that he does. His value of risk taking to build iconic virgin brands, you can see it. So, what is your authenticity? What is that thing that sets you apart from the crowd? Why do people go 4, 5 stores and they don't turn into the store and they turn to the 6th store? Is the reason for differentiation. What kind of experience do they get from you? How are you different from others? Because I'll give you an example. If you are going to buy any brand and there are 7 different types, all of them are different attributes, they have the same pricing, the same packaging. There is no need to choose one above the other. But because one is different, either it serves better, either the value is better than the others, something just is different that sets it apart. If you don't get that, over time, nobody will come for you. And if it is a business and nobody comes for you, you need to give that business to someone to help you sell it off. And when you sell it off, that business is dead. So it is important for you to differentiate or you die.
That's you. That now it makes a lot of sense. Now people are listening. I'm sure now you are appreciating the purpose of the topic, brand or differentiate or die. Anyway, so there's still a lot of questions pouring from different places. I have a question coming from Banjul in the Gambia, and it is coming from Habib. And Habib's question to you is that he said, "Thank you for the show. Great so far. I am taking a lot of notes and I am enjoying myself." How does branding support advertising? How does branding support advertising?
This is a very straightforward question. How does branding support advertising? Advertising in itself is one of the features of, so it's a way to market a brand. Now, how does branding support advertising? Branding, like you said, is the totality of a product or services. Now, you can advertise a bad brand successfully and consumer buy it. Now, if the brand is not solid, no matter the amount of advertising, there will not be repeat purchase. You can create a good advertising messaging for a brand, and then everybody fall in love with the advertising, and because of that, they come rushing in. And when they now buy, everything that we said, we have told them in the advertisement, they did not find it to be true. They will not come back. But then, of course, advertising does a whole lot to support a brand. As a personal brand, before people can buy you, you have to either open your mouth, you have to either do something that is advertising supporting your brand. If you go for a job interview, they ask you, why should we employ you? You need to then advertise yourself to project your personal brand, and that way advertising supports it. But then I'm always careful to let people know that you cannot advertise a bad brand. You can and then successfully advertise it, but people will not pick it up the second time if they don't get a good experience. Thank you very much, my brother from Banjul, Gambia.
Wow, that's awesome. That's all. So another follow-up question from Liberia, from Joseph in Liberia, and Joseph's question to you is that, let me rephrase exactly the way he said it. So Joseph's question is that, well, I am an employer with about 6 employees. Now, how does branding inspires employees? Or can I put it this way? Is there a way I can use branding to inspire people?
It's a very simple one. As an employee, your brand will inspire your people if they find things to learn from you, if they have opportunity to look up to you. When you coach them on daily basis, when you put their hands up Give them responsibility, give them coaching as to how they have to go about it. Every way you relate with them is about your personal brand, and it will be inspiring for them if what you do is quite inspiring. And this is very, very simple as an approach. As an employer or as an employee, I will take an example of an employee. If you work for an organization and your boss see you as that guy that is the go-to guy because of how you carry yourself, because of how you relate with clients, when there's a crisis to be managed, you are the right guy to do it. When we have a major project, $1 million project that they can't afford to joke with, you are the one they give it to. Your brand has helped you to move up the ladder. It has helped you to climb the ladder of your career. There's no way you get promotion if it is not an appealing brand. It means that you have delivered. So we must look at it as everything you do, the experience that people have when they have contact with you. So if it is quite a pleasant experience to inspire somebody, a lot of us look at people as role models. Their brand is appealing to us. That is why we look up to them as role models. There are people who have inspired us, as someone have inspired me in a lot of ways, supporting young people in Ghana, and then it becomes appealing to me. I'm inspired. I also want to do the same thing. This program is inspiring. Why? Because somebody created this program to share knowledge for people around the world. It's amazing as I look at the number of people that are listening. So he has been able to impact at least 13,082 people. So that says a whole lot about who you are as a brand.
Got you. I know, folks. I know you are having fun. You are excited. There are a lot of questions still pouring in. But at the same time, we're also looking at the clock. Can you believe that it's already an hour of our conversation? The time is flying, and as you know, it's already an hour, and it's also getting late in Nigeria. That our resource person need to go take care of other things with his family before the day breaks. Because for those of you who are not in Nigeria, you may not know it. It's not 3 p.m. as it is here in the US. It's almost 10 to 11 p.m. There. So I will ask a couple of questions and then we'll wrap it up if that's okay. And of course, like I said, he's always available. You can always have access to him. I will share his website. I will share all his contact information. You can always reach out to him and he will help you brand. Not just to answer personal questions alone, but how you can also reach out to his company, Big and Bold Communications, and then they will be able to help your organization and your institution to be branded as well. Just like the global brands I mentioned, some creates an identity based on how they dress, the kind of haircut, choices of color, or types of caps they all do. Does that make a personal brand?
What's your question again?
So my question is that now, because institutions and companies always have a particular way of presenting themselves. So, for instance, you talk about Coca-Cola and you talk about Nike. Everybody knows the logo for Nike or Nokia and all that. Does that make a personal brand?
Okay. It does not make a personal brand, even though it is part of your personal brand. So there's much more to it. Reason being that beyond how you dress, beyond how you look and what have you, what value are you able to give? So what is that thing that people are willing to exchange a share of their wallet to get your service? And it is important that everybody try to offer value. The value that you offer is much more important than your look. And that is why some people say, oh, you don't judge a book by the cover. Even though a lot of books sells because of the cover. But then when the book sells, because it has a good cover, it has a good design. So when I read the book eventually, what do I get from the book? That is the most important thing about your brand. And what experience did I take away? What is that memory that will live with me forever? So, and the memory is, in most cases, beyond how you dress. It's beyond the nice ties. It's beyond the nice cap. It's beyond the nice designer. So, what value you are able to offer is much more important for me.
Got you. So now let me ask about this. I seen politicians always try to come out either with a corporate logo or political logo, or come out in a certain color. You know, most of them will come with green, white, different colors. Now, how does personal brand helps your business or political career? For instance, if you are into business, how does branding also helps your business to grow?
Yeah. Personal branding helps business a lot. I must let you know, my friend, that people buy you before they buy your product. People buy you before they buy your company. So there are some clients, they don't care who Big and Bold Communication is. All they would know is that I want to give my job to Jide. All they know is that I want to give my job to Ranchi Aguloye. So it goes beyond even the organization. I must tell you that we're talking now, it's almost 11 p.m. in Nigeria. But then the person that invited me on this program is Samuel, my friend, who I cannot say no to. So I've bought Samuel before I bought into the podcast program. I don't know if that says a whole lot to you. So people will buy you before they buy what you have got to sell. So your personal brand helps you a whole lot. You need to do what I call a Google test. If you do a Google test, what comes out? What are those 4 or 5 things that you first see of yourself when you check yourself on Google? So you must then ask yourself, if people check you up, they want to vote in an election, and they go online to check you, and they cannot find achievements, they cannot find things you have done, they cannot find how you have helped your community, they are not able to see the things that you have done to help the needy, they cannot find any contribution to national development, then it then becomes an issue. And that is why personal branding becomes very key when people want to vote for you in an election. When people want to do business with organization, there are times when people ask, oh, who is this guy? Do you know him? And somebody says, oh, I don't know the organization, but I know the guy. He's trustworthy. They will do business with the organization. When there are certain products that you sell that people are skeptical about it, but then they just feel that this person presenting this to me is trustworthy. It's somebody I can believe his word. Oh, because of that, I'm going to buy. So your personal brand will then go a long way to help your personal career. It will go a long way to help your product. When people want to deal with organizations at times, they go online and check who are the executives, who is the managing director. They don't know you. But then what they find on LinkedIn, when they search your name, is what they rely on. So what they see people say about you, the testimonial of people about you, maybe on your website or your page, the comment that people make about you. I can go online, do a search on someone who I want to recruit, and then what I see online will tell me whether to recruit the person or not. Like, I'll give you an example. Someone recommends a resource to me, and I go online and I see this person posting where he's drinking and talking about enjoying life, saying, posting on Sunday night that, oh, tomorrow is Monday again. I thought the weekend would be longer. Then that is not an ideal candidate for me. So when people search you online, when they do your Google test, how do they know about you? If we need to employ you for a role that has to do with customer service, we can bring you in and say the interview is 12 noon, delay you for 2 hours to 3 p.m. or to 2 p.m. and that is the interview. We want to see what is your reaction. What is your patience level? How much patience can you have or not? It goes a long way. It goes a long way. A lot of time when politicians are campaigning, we are mostly saying the same thing. But people just fell in love with a particular candidate and they say we are going to go for this person. And so branding determines a whole lot in everything you do, whether you're standing for political election, whether you are you have a product to sell. Some people will buy Richard Branson before they buy into Virgin. A lot of people have visited South Africa before for the sole reason of having to go on the tour of Mandela's house. That says a whole lot about the personal brand.
Wow. We can't thank you enough for sharing all these thoughts with us, and all the details and the information you share with us. We are very grateful, and folks from around the world, let me sincerely apologize to the rest of you that I was unable to take your questions and answer them. I know there are a lot of questions here. I mean, I could see as many as 37 questions that are here that you all needed answers to. But one way or the other, he answered most of the questions in his presentations as well. So I just want to take this.
I wouldn't mind to answer one more question before.
Sure.
I mean,
Great. So then for that, see, Oliver Twist asked for more. So because he asked for one, I will give him two. So we can.
That is fine. That is fine. I'm enjoying myself.
Good. So then in that case, let me go to Scotland. In Scotland, I have Alexandra from Scotland, and Alexandra's question here is it's a very straightforward question, and she says that how do we use branding to generate new customers? How do we use branding to generate new customers?
Thank you, Alexander from Scotland. In generating new customers and then using branding, we need to make our brand visible. A lot of somebody I once said that doing business without advertising is like winking in the dark. Nobody will see you. So we need to find a way to make your brand visible. You need to ask yourself, what is it that your consumers are looking for? These customers, what exactly is it that they are looking for? What is it that you also need to go out and see people who are in your industry, try to patronize them, see what they offer, and then ask yourself, how can you do it better? Then you then have to give yourself a good brand. But then you need to make it visible. But the most important for me is brand advocacy. When people come in contact with your brand and they go out, become advocates and tell others. But they will not go out and tell others if they do not have a good experience. So create a good experience so that your consumers can become your advocate. And then you build what is called a brand equity. Immediately people have emotional attachments to your brand. They don't want to go. And that is why some people say, oh, I only support Manchester United. It is because there is an emotional connection between them and Manchester United in such a way that they are trying to bring their friends who support a team that is not so used to winning trophy and say, oh, come and support Manchester United. People eat in a restaurant, they dine in a restaurant somewhere, and then they tell others, oh, the best place you can dine in Aberdeen, in Glasgow, is XYZ because I have an awesome experience. The meal is so on point. That way, you are getting new customers. You need to hold on to the customers that you have so that when they have a good experience, they can do a repeat purchase and they also tell people about you. But there are simple ways to do this. What are you using your social media for? Do you have a Facebook page for this business? Do you have an Instagram page for this business? Are you providing information in the industry so that people, when they are looking for information about your industry, they can come to your blog, to your page and find it. That way, they want to do business with it. If this evening I've helped people with information about brand management, one or two people will probably look for me and then say, oh, I want to book a session for you to help my brand. So that way, the brand is becoming visible, the brand is at offer value, and then it's getting customers from there.
Oh, now, just for you to laugh, somebody just quickly tweeted and said, did he just said Manchester doesn't win trophies?
Did you do what?
Somebody tweeted that, did you just mention that Manchester United doesn't win trophies? I know the Manchester United fans. Hey, don't mind Jide. He's not a Manchester fan. I believe he's an Arsenal fan. Just anyway. So the next set of questions that I have, then that's unfortunately going to be our last question, and this question is coming from Abiakuta in Nigeria, and this the question here is that. Thank you so much for sharing this wealth of knowledge with us. How does branding help build financial value? How does branding helps build financial value?
Yeah. When my brother or sister from Nigeria, when your brand become a brand that people want to go for, you suddenly discover that if your sales volume, for example, is 15 per week, you then begin to grow up to 20, 30, 40 per week. This automatically translates to financial value. When you are the best singer that people can go for, and then as against getting one job a week, you are getting 4 to 5. You are increasing your financial value. I mentioned this in one of my sessions before, that someone went somewhere where they had issue with a particular machine, and in just 5 minutes, he was able to get the machine to start. And when he billed them $10,000, they asked him why he's billing. He said he's billing for the knowledge to know what the problem is with the machine, not what it did. So that way you will get financial value. As a speaker, as a facilitator, if people found you good enough to give knowledge, to help people, and then provide solutions to their personal life, they will continually invite you. And when they do, they pay a certain honorarium, which is financial value. If you are able to move from sales of 10% into 40% of your of the market share of your industry, obviously you are getting financial value. So there's no way you do brand management and you manage your brand very that will not get financial value, because you are going to pull customers from some other places. You are going to attract some prospects to you, and when they do business with you, you're obviously going to make money and your brand will grow.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, folks. I know you have actually enjoyed yourself. You've had fun. What a perfect timing. Especially when the year is we are just in the month of February, to have all this wealth of knowledge shared with us from our great fellow Jide Adeyemi, for giving us an inspiration as to how we can brand ourselves, present ourselves in such a way that we do not only just become attractive to people, but we also become an imprint in the minds of people. But that when people are looking for solution, and when people are looking for a particular product, our names will come into their mind, and they will turn to us. And when we walk by the street, or if we drive on the road and people come in contact with us, our brand will resonate with them. On this note, folks from around the world, I just want to take this moment to thank all of you for tuning in, for sharing this great moment with us. We are very grateful, very excited that you continue to support, be inspired with our radio show, and we are continue to bring inspiration to people from around the world. I want to thank especially my studio engineer, David Donko, for all the technical work that you've been providing. We are very grateful. Our executive producer, Michael Sisiljani, for doing all the producing work from behind the scene, as well as our marketing and coordinating coordinator, Lily Valerie Audrey, for supporting. Of course, we cannot forget our brand officer, the one who does all our corporate logo and our posters and everything, our great guy, Abraham, for supporting us. And so on this note, I want to thank my good friend once again, Jide, for being with us. And like we always do, we'll turn back to you again to give us your final wrap up statement, and then we'll end it out. So over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, listeners from around the world. It's a pleasure having the singular honor of speaking to over 13,000 people from around the world about my passion, which is brand management. What I would like to tell us in closing is that whatever you do, you must have it in mind that every time you meet with people, you are selling your personal brand. And there is nobody that does not have a brand. It can only be good or it can only be bad. So be mindful. Every time you send a tweet, it says who you are. Every time you put a status update on Facebook, on Instagram, or whatever, it tells who you are. The kind of picture you share online, how you contribute to conversations. It is the amalgamation of all of this, your daily life, is what forms what your personal brand is. So once you understand how you wish your brand to be perceived, you can start to be much more strategic about building your personal brand. Then you can start what are your unique attributes. What do you do better than every other person? What are your top values? What are those things that drive you? What do people frequently compliment you for? It's easy for you to know how thick your brand is if you know what people compliment you for. What is that thing that your manager, your friend, or your wife, or your family members, what is it that they say about you? You can test your brand. You can do a brand check by asking 10 of your friends, who do you say I am? What do you think about me? If it is positive, you need to develop on it. If you see some of them as negative, you need to work on it. So what adjectives do people use to consistently describe you? Perhaps that is who you are. So how do you do what you do? What makes you achieve results in an interesting way? What is that thing that you do and then you don't even know when time is gone? That is probably your passion. And what energizes you? What is it that ignites you? If you know all of this, you are on your way to building an awesome brand, and then you will get there. Branding, we need to know it has evolved over the from where we're coming from to now, thanks to social media and what have you. So I advise my listeners today, you might need to go and review your LinkedIn profile and put it in shape. You might need to check what you have on social media. You might need to do a Google test of yourself to see what comes out. What kind of visuals you put out there and people recommend you or not? What are the testimonials that people have about you? You need to put all of these together and then begin to build your personal brand. So it's for you to also scrutinize yourself online to be able to withstand scrutiny and random prospect discovery process. What I mean is that if I heard about your name, I go online and I do a scrutiny. I check you. So what is it that I found out? That is tells me who you are. So I want to advise everybody, know fully well that personal branding is very, very key. And it is the desired image or impression that you want to create in the mind of people when your name comes to their mind. It is that experience you want people to take away when they have contact with you. And it says a lot about who you are. For the privilege of all our listeners, you can follow me on Instagram, Jide at Jide Adeyemi. You can follow me on Twitter at Jide Adeyemi. From time to time, I give brand management tips. On Mondays, I have what I call Monday Morning Inspiration, where I talk about where I talk about brand management and I talk about marketing on Instagram. It will be a nice one. You can follow me at Jide Adeyemi, and from time to time, you can DM me. You can ask questions that you're not able to ask on this program, and I'll be willing to answer you. And if there's opportunity, I can physically come around and then talk about what I love talking about, which is brand management, and I'm sure that it will help your personal, help your business. Thank you, Samuel. This is quite an experience. It will remain vivid on my mental screen. I had fun. Thank you, everybody that tuned into the program. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But you leave, I also want to give you an opportunity to wish Senator Vero Mills in Ghana. Today is her birthday, and I know you have a personal friendship with her as one time the Senate Chair of Africa. So she's listening to you on the show, and so why don't you just wish her a happy birthday?
My sister, Senator Veronica from Accra, Ghana. If you are listening, here is wishing you a happy birthday. I wish you many more success in life. I pray that you live long, you thrive, and prosper in all that you do. And I want to say thank you to you for supporting young people in Accra and in other parts of Africa. You are such an inspiration to us, and so I wish you a happy birthday.
Alrighty, folks. Thank you so much, Jide. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Continue to enjoy our podcast. And as you guys know, our podcast runs 24 hours. So every time you can tune in to listen to live shows as well as recorded versions of all the conversations that we've had and some good music from around the world and documentaries as well. So on this note, again, my name is Samuel Jacob Sabe and I am signing off for today. Enjoy the rest of your music whilst I talk to our guest offline. God bless you guys and enjoy yourself.
Hello, my name is Quan Green, and I would love to share some products that I found that are very beneficial to not only my body, but I'm sure that they would really help your body. I found out that a lot of us are impacted and we need to be detoxed, and I found some wonderful products that will safely detox you and help you to eliminate the waste and feel good about yourself. We also have products that will help grow your hair and give your skin more vibrant radiance and suppleness and help with wrinkles. I also have products that will help with joint pain as well as help you to lose weight. These products are all natural, therefore you don't have to worry about putting something in your body that's going to add problems to the problems that you may already be facing. So if you're interested, please give me a call at 706-426-1471, or you can email me at preciousjewel492@gmail.com. Thank you and have a blessed day.
To Weekend Night Live, hosted by Samuel Jacobs Abbey, where we play music, talk shows, and interviews on Be Inspired Podcast Network. Stay tuned and keep your dial on www.beinspiredpodcast.com. Don't forget to stay connected, be inspired, be unique, and be different.